Good evening and welcome to the celebration of the National Independence Day of Poland, commemorating the 102nd anniversary of Poland regaining its independence on November 11, 1918. Chers amis de la Pologne, mesdames et messieurs, bienvenue à la fête de l'indépendance nationale de la Pologne pour célébrer le 102e anniversaire du recouvrement de l'indépendance de la Pologne le 11 novembre 1918. My name is Karolina Wilman-Duralska, and it's my great pleasure to be your Master of Ceremony this evening. Ladies and gentlemen, it's my honor to introduce the distinguished speakers who will address us during today's event. Mr. Andrzej Górnicki, Ambassador of the Republic of Poland to Canada. Mr. Arif Virani, Member of Parliament, Parliamentary Secretary to the Minister of Justice and Attorney General of Canada. Mr. Tom Knieć, Member of Parliament, and Mr. Robert Fry, Director General for Global Affairs Canada at the Bureau of European Affairs. Mesdames et Messieurs, veuillez accueillir l'ambassadeur de la République de Pologne au Canada, M. Andrzej Górnicki. La parole est à vous.
Dziękuję bardzo. For the record, I'm wearing the mask, but during my speech I will take off and to have my voice much more to reach the audience. Ladies and gentlemen, excellencies, dear Polish and Canadian veterans, Mesdames et Messieurs, Szanowni Państwo, droga Polonia. On November 11, our Canadian friends honored the wartime heroes who served and paid the ultimate price for freedom, peace and justice. For Poles, this day has a great significance as well. More than commemorating Armistice Day and the end of the World War I, it also marks Poland's regaining of independence after 103 years of statelessness. Polish independence would not have been occurred without the aid and support, military, political and diplomatic support of our allies such as France, US and Canada. In 1917, at Niagara-on-the-Lake, Canadian authorities established a military facility called Camp Kościuszko, designed to train a Polish army in exile consisting of the volunteers keen to fight for the freedom of Poland and free Europe during the World War I. Over 22,000 Polish recruits, including 700 from Canada, trained at this site. They subsequently joined General Halle Blue Army alongside the Polish expatriates in France. These military contingents played a very important role in securing Polish independence, shaping the borders of the newborn state, but also as a strong political voice and manifestation of our core values, beliefs and national collective determination to have our independent country in Europe. On November 11, 1980, the dreams of Poles' generations was fulfilled. Poland was reborn on the map of Europe. The heroism and dedication of its soldiers under the Piłsudski and General Halle command, combined with the joint efforts of the entire nation and diplomatic success by Paderewski, Dmowski, Zamoyski, Rommel, and the Polish diplomats, made this moment possible. Marshal Józef Piłsudski built the Polish state on the foundation of faith, freedom and security. Less than 2 years after the First World War was finished, Józef Piłsudski and his military team directed the struggle of the Poles against the Bolshevik invasion in 1920 to maintain a sovereign nation while maintaining vital human and military resources to meet the challenges of the new state after Bolshevik aggression. Crafted with precision and perfectly executed, so-called Piłsudski maneuver in August 1920 remains not only high regarded military masterpiece, but also still remains one of the most crucial conflicts of European civilization against the Red Tyranny and Bolshevik ideology in different forms. In World War II, the Polish and Canadian Brotherhood in arms was further strengthened in several battlefields, including Normandy, Monte Cassino, the Battle of Britain, Deep Ride in August 1942, as well as the Warsaw Uprising. During the Battle of Britain, Polish 303 Squadron became the most successful fighter command unit, shooting down 226 German planes in only 32 days. Commanding the Polish RAF, Squadron 303, was the Canadian Group Captain John Kent from Winnipeg. After invasion Normandy, the 1st Polish Armored Division under the General Maciek command was a component of the Lieutenant General Guy Simons, the 1st Canadian Armed Corps of the Canadian Army, under the Lieutenant General Henry de Crier as a command. Until December 1943, the Canadian Army was under the command of General Andrew George McNaughton. For General Maciek and the men of the 1st Polish Armored Divisions, the Battle of Champagne and Hill 262 represented the great victory in the West Front and a long overdue revenge against the German Nazi. Soldiers of both countries collectively helped liberate the Netherlands and Belgium. Our troops shed the blood on the Battle of Monte Cassino. Poles fondly remember the 26 pilots of the Royal Canadian Air Force who perished over Poland while flying in support mission during the Warsaw Uprising. Just a few days ago, I had the honor to take the part in an important event just around the Ottawa Chapel. They commemorated the 5 Canadian pilots, members of the Royal Canadian Air Force after World War II, delivered humanitarian aid from Ottawa to Warsaw. Unfortunately, on November 4, 1945, during the second missions to Poland, the aircraft crashed over Germany and all members of the team were killed. The plaque dedicated to those 5 Canadians, pilots, and their act of heroism still encourage us to reflect during the Polish Independence Day and Canadian Remembrance Day on the heroic act of brave men and women in uniform. For us in Poland and for Polonia, the reflections on the Polish Independence Day and Canada Remembrance Day on November 11 are still deeply rooted in our national consciousness and will be filled with solemn pride of the heroism of those who died in the service of the country's victory. The contribution of our Canadian friends to regain our independence and freedom is much appreciated and shall remain so in the collective memory of the Poles and Polish diaspora in Canada. As the ambassador of the Republic of Poland in Canada, I am delighted that with the involvement of our Canadian friends and the members of the Polish community in Canada, this anniversary of the Polish independence is so important for all of us. May a free, independent and sovereign Poland continue to flourish in the year that we commemorate our national independence. We honor the memory of the Polish and Canadian heroes of the First and Second World War. Today, in their honor, we are united in their memory. Thank you very much for your intentions. Dziękuję bardzo. Życzę przyjemnych wrażeń z dzisiejszego koncertu. And now I would like to invite you to all to the wonderful evening for the Polish music. Thank you.
Dzień dobry. Nazywam się Arif Virani. I'm Arif Virani, and I'm proud to represent the riding of Parkdale High Park in the House of Commons. One of the special aspects of my riding is its historic Polish community centered around Roncesvalles village, which I'm delighted to call home. St. Casimir's Church and Copernicus Lodge seniors residents are both staples in my riding and are shining examples of the bond between Canada and its Polish community. My riding also plays host each year to the annual Roncesvalles Polish Festival, which attracts tens of thousands of people to our community each year to experience Polish food, music, and culture. I would like to thank Ambassador Kurnicki for inviting me to speak on the momentous occasion of the Independence Day of Poland, celebrating the Second Republic. I want to wish everyone participating in the live online concert of classical Polish music a joyous celebration, and I look forward to hearing some classics by composers such as the Polish great Frédéric Chopin. Polish history is one of perseverance and pride. This history is informed by the 3 partitions during the 18th century under the empires of Russia, Prussia, and the Habsburg monarchy. This included 123 years of Poland being left off of the map before the foundation of the Second Polish Republic through the efforts of Polish icons like Marshal Józef Pilsudski and the subjugation of Poles to a communist government and the domination of the Soviet Union for over 40 years in the aftermath of World War II. Poles have combated occupation for centuries, and this has built incredible resilience and historic success. The Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth was the largest kingdom in Europe and the first to legislate a written constitution in Europe, only the second written constitution in the entire world. Poland also fought bravely in World War II, and Polish units were integral in battles all over the world, including the Battle of Britain and the Battle of Monte Cassino. Poles like Lech Walesa and the Solidarność movement helped liberate Eastern Europe from communist authoritarianism in the 1980s. And Poland's greatest son, Saint Pope John Paul II, was also pivotal to the fall of communism, as well as being the first pope born outside of Italy and Germany. These accomplishments and moments in history tell a larger tale of Polish identity and the struggle for freedom and against authoritarianism. Canada and Poland share these common values and maintain a strong partnership in the fight against authoritarianism. This is exemplified right now by Canada's strong military presence in Eastern Europe and the Baltics as part of the Allied NATO mission. This serves as a bulwark against present-day aggression by Putin's Russia. Through trade deals and partnerships including NATO, Poland and Canada's ties will remain strong. Poles are an integral part of the Canadian mosaic. It is with joy that I wish everyone celebrating Polish Independence Day a fantastic day. Dziękuję bardzo.
Happy National Polish Independence Day. My name is Tomasz Kmiecz, or Tom Kmiecz in Canada. I'm the Member of Parliament for Calgary Shepherd and the National Conservative Caucus Chair. I immigrated to Canada in 1985. My father came here in 1983. Poland, Polish heritage, Polish cuisine, the Polish language are a big part of my everyday life. This is a day that over a million Polish Canadians of Polish heritage get to celebrate our endowment of freedom, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness wherever we are in the world. So on this National Polish Independence Day, I'm wishing you i serdecznie pozdrawiam wszystkich na ten Dzień Niepodległości Polski. Dziękuję bardzo, witam wszystkich.
Ambassador Kurnicki, Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, collègues, amis, mesdames et messieurs, my name is Robert Fry, and I am the Director General at Global Affairs Canada at the Bureau of European Affairs. I am delighted to be with you this evening to commemorate Poland's Independence Day, marking the 102nd anniversary of the restoration of Poland's sovereignty and the Second Polish Republic in 1918. Canada and Poland have a strong and long-standing relationship, deep people-to-people ties, as you know. There are over 1 million Canadians of Polish heritage who have made and continue to make many important contributions to our country. We have fought together against totalitarian regimes and have built a better world based on democracy and peace. Committed to the values of the organization, including the advancement of peace, security, and human rights, Canada was the first NATO country to approve Poland joining the alliance in 1998. Since then, both our countries continue to serve NATO, including in the Canada-led multinational enhanced forward presence group, battle group in Latvia. In fact, I had the opportunity, a chance, to meet members of the Polish Armored Tank Company on a visit there last December. Le Canada importe plus de 2 milliards de dollars de la Pologne en marchandises, une augmentation de plus de 8% depuis 2018. Nous espérons que le gouvernement polonais va bientôt ratifier l'accord de libre-échange entre le Canada et l'Union européenne. The CETA, that we hope will soon be ratified by the government of Poland, helps to create those linkages and build those economic ties between our countries. In the current context of COVID-19, our countries continue to work together as members of the international community to rebuild better and get through this pandemic so that we come out stronger on the other side. On behalf of the Government of Canada, I extend my best wishes to all those celebrating Poland's National Independence Day here in Canada and around the world. Thank you very much for inviting me to take part in this evening's concert and to celebrate this important day for Poland and Canada. I am always pleased to be among members of the diaspora here in Canada. You reflect Poland's image in Canada and have contributed to the vibrancy of Canada's multicultural fabric. Through your daily work, you make an important contribution to this relationship. C'est un honneur d'être entre bons amis, alliés et partenaires de longue date ce soir. Merci et na zdrowie.
At this time, I would like to invite you to the concert performed by Mrs. Nadia Monczak and Mr. Steve Massicot. Nadia Monczak is a Canadian violinist of Polish origin. As a soloist with orchestra and chamber musician, she has performed in Canada, the United States, Russia, Germany, Switzerland, Italy, the Netherlands, Poland, Mexico, Chile, and many other countries. From 2017 to 2019, she was the artistic director of concerts at the Whale Hall in Carnegie Hall in New York. Nadia is a 2021 cohort member of the Ivy League curated Global Leaders Program and is the current Academy coordinator at Orford Music. She plays on a 1845-46 Jean-Baptiste Guillaume violin, generously on loan by Canimex. Pianist Steven Massicot is a laureate of numerous competitions in Canada and Europe, including the Joseph Rouleau Prize for Best Pianist from Quebec at the Montreal International Musical Competition, and third prizes at the International Chopin Competition in Czech Republic, the Chant Piano Competition, and the Toronto Symphony Orchestra Competition. A scholarship recipient of the Canada Council of the Arts, he holds a doctorate degree from Université de Montréal and artist diploma from the University of Music and Performing Arts in Vienna. Steve is the pianist of the renowned trio Fibonacci. Nadia and Steven will perform an instrumental medley of songs pertaining to crucial events in the history of Poland. We Are the First Brigade, Red Poppies on Monte Cassino, Lord, You Have Come to the Lakeshore, Waltz, as well as works by Polish composers Fryderyk Chopin, Ignacy Jan Paderewski, and Henryk Wieniawski. Mesdames et Messieurs, Madame Nadia Monczak and Monsieur Steven Massicot.
We are very happy to play for you 4 songs that pertain to the anniversaries this year for Poland. The 1920 Battle of Warsaw, which stopped the communism entering Poland after World War I. So we have an actual song that the legions from World War I sang. Then we have a song that the armies in World War II sang, the Red Poppies on Monte Cassino. The third piece is the favorite song of Pope John Paul II, whose 100th anniversary of birth we celebrate this year. And finally, a very powerful song that was a sort of hymn of the Solidarity movement, and even this year was sung in Poland in support of the Belarus movements of freedom. It's The Walls, and the words are so powerful about making the walls crumble. So these are 4 very important anniversaries that we celebrate today, and I hope you will enjoy the spirit of the music. We've created a little medley for you.
Frédéric Chopin is maybe one of the composers that wrote the most beautiful music for piano. And it's an honor to be here at the Polish Embassy of Canada and play for you his music. The most famous Heroic Polonaise, Opus 53 in A-flat major, which really captures the resilience, the spirit of resilience of the Polish people.
The next piece that we have for you is by Ignacy Jan Paderewski. It's personally for me, it's one of my favorite figures from the Polish composers. He has a very fascinating story. Also now in the archives of even Canadian newspapers, I read very long articles that were written 100 years ago about Paderewski. So there was really a mania about Paderewski in North America. And he was orphaned when he was young. His father was involved in the efforts of independence. And then he became, many years later, he became a great virtuoso. Women were falling in love with him all over the United States and Canada. Apparently he looked like an archangel. He had red hair and just like from a painting. And for us, for Poland, he's known as well as one of the founders of the Polish independence. He helped a lot politically as well for Poland to regain its freedom. But the piece that we have for you is an excerpt of a sonata that he wrote when he was only 20 years old. And I haven't read this anywhere, but from the dates that I've calculated, I think this was written right after his first wife died. She died at childbirth, and Paderewski was very poor at the time, so he could not afford very good medical care. He was still a starting pianist, and his wife died giving birth to also a sick child. So it's very tragic. Paderewski was only 20 years old, but I think this piece shows great maturity, and it shows what was inside his spirit through the rest of his life. And the last piece of our program, although not the least, is a piece also by a musician who played here in Canada and played in the United States. Maybe not everybody knows this, but Henryk Wieniawski was one of the first romantic virtuosos who, from Europe, that came to do great tourneys in North America. And one of his most popular pieces in that time was the Faust Fantasy. Back in that day, a lot of the great virtuosos, they composed their own pieces. And opera in that time was a bit like our radio, so the most popular melodies were from the operas, and that was a way for the musician to attract the audience and also give them melodies that they could recognize. So one of the biggest hits in Wieniawski's time was the opera Faust by Gounod, of course inspired by the great work of Goethe. And in this fantasy you will hear parts of the opera of Faust, thinking about the meaning of life, of a young man going to war. You even have Mephistopheles laugh in a song, the Marguerite that is in love, and at the end, village dance. So, Faust by Henryk Wieniawski on the themes from Gounod's Faust.
So thank you very much for this wonderful performance and evening, and the music that you choose to celebrate our 100 of Polish independence, but also related to 100 years of the birth of the John Paul II. So all this mix of music, beautiful music. Paderewski, as you mentioned, Dalia Paderewski is one of the Polish diplomat and well-known composer who actually had a lot of talent, musician's talent, but also contact that he developed in the United States and Canada to pursue also the objective for the Polish independence. So really, congratulations for the beautiful performance of all of you.
Thank you.
But also the mix of the music, the flavor, the quality, and related to our historical context. That was just beautiful. So I'm very impressed. We're all impressed here and also outside of our embassy. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Thank you.
This concludes our celebration. Thank you for your virtual participation. Nous vous remercions de nous avoir accompagnés. Dziękujemy, że byliście Państwo z nami. We wish you all a wonderful evening. Bonne soirée. Dobranoc. Dziękujemy.